On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied. "My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now, if you would read the whole book of John, and I would love it if you did, and you're a very, very careful reader, you will find out that every place Jesus speaks about his hour, he's talking about his death, the hour of his death. Now, do you see the non sequitur? She comes up and says, "What a disaster. They've run out of wine." And Jesus says, "Woman, why are you telling me this? I'm not ready to die." It's possible, by the way, that Mary knew, maybe not exactly who Jesus was, but that he wasn't normal. Because if you notice, she goes to the servants and says, "Whatever he does, tell you, do it." You know, she doesn't get upset with him. She doesn't go nuts. I have no idea what's going on in her mind, but I do know this. He is saying, "Oh, really? You want me to do something about their shame? You want me to bring joy to them." See, this is a sign. It's all a symbol. And therefore, I believe, I know pretty much, if you study this text, Jesus is looking past his mom. And he's looking past the bridegroom and the bride. He's looking past the wedding party. And he's looking at something else. And he's saying, "I have come to deal with their shame. I have come to bring joy. But I'm going to have to die to do it." And I actually think there's something else happening in his mind. And by the way, I do believe that John means us to think about this. Just maybe, he's even thinking of something else. The point is, this is a wedding feast. The first miracle, the first sign is a wedding feast. In the Old Testament, God depicts himself as the bridegroom of his people, which shows that God in the Bible doesn't just want a relationship with us as kings to subjects. He wants a love relationship to us, to you, as profound as the love relationship between a husband and a wife. So he calls himself the bridegroom in the Old Testament. Jesus comes along, and in this gospel and in the other gospels, he says things like this. At one point, his disciples are being criticized for not fasting, and he says, "Why should the friends of the bridegroom fast when the bridegroom is still with them?" And I won't get into what he's talking about there, but here's the point. He calls himself the bridegroom. The bridegroom. Fully knowing who that is according to the Bible. And John, the gospel writer, understands this theme. Because if you get to the end of the New Testament, to the book of Revelation written by the gospel, by John, he depicts the end of all things, the same way, actually, as Isaiah 25. He depicts the end of all things as what? This is what it says at the end. "Then I saw the holy city, Jerusalem, come out of heaven, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a voice saying, 'Blessed are those invited to the wedding feast of the Lamb.'" In other words, at the end of time, there is going to be a feast. But it's not just going to be a general feast, it's going to be a wedding feast. Because all the things that Jesus Christ has sought to accomplish, all the things he came to accomplish, will be accomplished. And therefore, maybe what John wants us to think about is this. What do single people think about at weddings? Why do sometimes single people sit at wedding receptions with this kind of funny, faraway look in their eyes? They're thinking about what their wedding day might be like, and maybe Jesus is thinking, just maybe, he's saying, "Mother, for my people to fall into my arms, and for us to drink of the rivers of God's delight, I'm going to have to die. For my people to drink the cup of joy and festival blessing, I'm going to have to drink the cup of justice and of punishment and of death."